Walking through Prague is like stepping into a fairy tale land. It feels so out of this era. Prague's entire historic center is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, making one of the most well-preserved medieval cities in Europe. And we got to spend 2 days here exploring as much as we could on our 35-day trip with EF Ultimate Break. Sorry you guys, this is being recorded. By the time we got to check into our hostel, it was already pretty late, so we didn't do much for the rest of the day. We kind of just took it easy and took the time to get some rest. We started our visit with one of Prague's most visited tourist attractions, the Prague Castle complex. Prague Castle is the largest ancient castle in the world, spanning 70,000 square meters, which is like 7 football fields. And the best way to start your visit here is to watch the changing of the guard ceremony. As we started heading outside the castle complex, we stopped at the spot for one of the best views of the city. I'll take you to my absolute favorite viewing spot later in the vlog, but for now, just admire the amazing skyline that this city has. Our next stop was Old Town Square, which was by far the most beautiful European square I've ever seen, and I've visited over 11 countries in Europe. Did you know that there's an underground network of chambers and tunnels beneath Old Town Prague from the Middle Ages? It was created when the city raised its streets to prevent flooding. Prague is just full of surprises. What we really came here for, though, was the astronomical clock. You've probably seen pictures of it before, but this attraction, installed in 1410, is the world's oldest astronomical clock still in operation. Every hour, it comes alive with the Walk of the Apostles, and many say that it's cursed. Legend says that the clockmaker who created the astronomical clock was blinded by Prague officials to ensure he could never replicate his masterpiece. He supposedly cursed the clock, don't blame him, causing it to stop working when somebody tries to repair it. Whether you believe this story or not, watching the astronomical clock chime is still one of the best things to do in Prague, so don't miss it. We learned a couple of Czech phrases today, and we're trying to remember.
It's a 3-syllable one. I forgot what it was.
No, that was beer. Of course she remembers the beer. After our tour ended, we were pretty hungry, so we went to this spot for lunch. Human cheese sandwich.
This is an update. We're waiting on, well, I'm waiting on my drink. Everybody else has their drink. Say hi, everybody. She went to the bathroom. She left her stuff on the table, and with that comes consequences. And the consequences are Avery's blocks. You should really go through these because there's a lot.
Show your water for the camera. Water, my shot of water.
Why does that vodka?
So colorful. It's very hard to cut. It's very hard to cut like my egg.
The girls are struggling. The girls are struggling hard.
We keep them together.
Oh, Avery, come closer. After lunch, we walked around the Jewish quarter to window shop because I actually can't afford anything here. Then we went back to the hostel to get ready for medieval dinner for that night. Story time, we showed up late to the event because we ended up taking an Uber to the wrong spot, but that's a whole other story. This dinner wasn't part of our original itinerary. Our tour director organized it for us, and we got to eat a 4-course traditional meal while watching belly dancers and actors fight with swords. The food wasn't the best I've ever had, but Prague is also not famous for its cuisine, but the live show and music was very entertaining, and my favorite part was actually being inside this dark medieval themed tavern, which was actually pretty cool. And they also give you unlimited drinks, which, fun fact, did you know that Czechs drink more beer per capita than any other nation in the world? In some places, beer is cheaper than water. On our second day in Prague, we started off our morning with a visit to the Starbucks, which apparently has the best view in the entire city. Remember when I said I'd show you my favorite viewing spot? This is it. Not trying to hand Starbucks free advertising here, but I still say that they picked the perfect location for this store. We took our time drinking our coffees and taking in the view, and then we visited Prague's most beautiful hidden gem, which is a library that's hiding inside Strahov complex, and you would never find it without a GPS. My jaw absolutely dropped when I saw this. Strahov library has two main rooms, the theological hall and the philosophical hall. Unfortunately, you can only go inside these spaces if you pay for a private tour, which costs a lot of money. But if you're into old books or you grew up watching OG Disney movies like me, just do it. It will be worth it. Vlog update. We may have accidentally stumbled upon one of the prettiest views that we've seen the entire time we've been in Prague. Just look at this. On our little exploration, we also ran into this super weird spot, the narrowest street. Prague has a street so narrow that it has its own traffic light for pedestrians. From the left bank of the city, we crossed back over to Old Town through the most iconic bridge in the city, Charles Bridge. It's said that the souls of workers who built the bridge still linger, protecting it from harm. Prague is so beautiful and so full of history and charm that we were all super sad to leave, but here I was, packing again to head off to the next stop on our tour,
This is
Munich.
the part that nobody gets to see of these trips. We have to pack every 2 or 3 days, and sometimes we buy things, and sometimes things don't get put back in its spot, and then this is what happens. But I'm getting it close. It's gonna close. You doubted me.